do you think is the most important part of speaking? Well, I'll tell you what I believe coming up. So what did you think was the most important part of speaking? Was it gesture? Was it eye contact? Was it pace? Well, I believe the most important part of speaking is not speaking. The pause. So what makes pause so powerful? Well, the pause can transform what you're saying from mediocre to awesome. And it does that by adding a sense of drama or perhaps stressing certain points to make them really stand out, or giving your audience time to take in what you've said and reflect on that. The pause can do all that and more. I'd like to read to you a passage, and I'll read it twice. And what I will do is I'll show you not pausing, and then I'll show you using different types of pauses to make it stand out, hopefully. So this reading is from Douglas Adams' Life, the Universe and Everything in It. And I'm starting at chapter 1. The regular early morning yell of horror was the sound of Arthur Dent waking up and suddenly remembering where he was. It wasn't just that the cave was cold. It wasn't just that it was damp and smelly. It was the fact that the cave was in the middle of Islington and there wasn't a bus due for 2 million years. All right. Hopefully this reading's a bit better. The regular early morning yell of horror was the sound of Arthur Dent waking up and suddenly remembering where he was. It wasn't just that the cave was cold. It wasn't just that it was damp and smelly. It was the fact that the cave was in the middle of Islington and there wasn't another bus due for 2 million years. So what do you think? Which reading was better? Hopefully the second reading you found to be more dramatic, more alive, more interesting. And that can be the power of pause. I can't tell you what an amazing feeling it is when you're speaking and you pause, to know that the entire audience is on the edge of their seat waiting for those next words to come out of your mouth. It is truly powerful. So how do you use pause and when? Well, I think it would be best if I tell you what the 4 main types of pauses are. The first pause is the breath pause, which is pretty self-explanatory. It's a pause to take a breath. But this is best done at punctuation. And the reason for this is if you pause within a phrase or a sentence, it tends to break the sense. So the audience lose what you're talking about. They don't understand. So try to remember when you take a breath to do so only at punctuation. The next type of pause is the dramatic pause. And the dramatic pause should give a sense of drama to what you're saying. And this pause should be done before or after a word. The third type of pause is the emphatic pause. And this pause is to emphasize a point or a word. So to make it stand out. Again, you can do this before or after the word. And it's often accompanied with a gesture. And the fourth pause is what I like to call the absorption pause. And this pause is used to give the audience time to take in what you've said, to absorb what you've said, and also to reflect on what's been said before. So those are the 4 main types of pauses. There are others, but I feel that they can fit into these 4 categories. Now, You don't have to only use one type of pause at once. You could use a combination of pauses. For example, you might have a dramatic pause. That's also a breath pause. That's also an absorption pause. So you're not limited to just one type at once. Let me read the passage again and see if you can spot all the different types of pauses. The regular early morning yell of horror was the sound of Arthur Dent waking up and suddenly remembering where he was. It wasn't just that the cave was cold. It wasn't just that it was damp and smelly. It was the fact that the cave was in the middle of Islington and there wasn't a bus due for another 2 million years. Did you spot them all? I tried to make sure I had something for everything. All 4 of those main types of pauses. So if pause is so powerful, why don't people use it more? I think that people are afraid to use the pause because they are worried that the audience will lose attention and stop listening to what they're saying. Or the other reason could be that the speaker feels they're going to forget what they're saying. Well, if you use the pause well, and in conjunction with the other tools of speech, such as modulation, which I also have a video on, I believe that that will not happen. You have time to remember what you have to say, and you most definitely will not lose the audience's attention. But the trick is to master the timing. Unfortunately, timing is not something that is easy to teach. It's a feeling, a judgment call. But what you can do to start with is counting in your head silently. I recommend starting with 2 or 3, just so you can start to get a feeling of what good timing is. And when you practice it, you will get more aware of how long a pause you will need. Think about your favourite comedian. Why do you love them so much? You may not realise it, but it's because they are a master of timing. They know just how long to wait after setting up the joke before delivering the punchline. And that is why you love them. So do your best to practice the timing to start with so that you can understand how long you need to wait. The audience is incredibly patient. They'll wait a long time if you've set it up well. So the next time you're speaking, either publicly or otherwise, I'd like you to practice using the pause. Think of the 4 different types: the breath pause, the dramatic pause, the emphatic pause, and the absorption pause. Think about counting in your head silently until you become adept at actually feeling how long a pause to give things. And see whether or not your speech improves and you have more of your audience's attention. One last tip. Often when we are speaking, we tend to use a lot of filler words like and Mine tend to be so and well, in case you hadn't noticed. I certainly have. But what I would like you to do is, rather than using those filler words, just pause. When you do this, you will come across as being far more confident, and it will do wonders for your confidence, not saying and Just pause to collect your thoughts. Like I said, the audience will wait. So I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, please let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear your experiences on pause. Also, if you like the video, please make sure you hit the like button and subscribe to the channel, and make sure you hit that little bell icon so you know when I next upload videos. And lastly, check out my other videos. I'm sure you'll find something useful in there for you as well. Until next time.